Hello and welcome. My name's Jordan Grand. This is the Wing Chun Qigong channel. I wish to apologize. I've been overseas for several weeks. I've been spending time with family, meditating, a lot of Qigong, meditation, training, but not a lot of martial arts training that I did last year when I went over and uh, started doing videos again and that sort of thing. Um, But anyway, there you go. So hopefully, if I find some more time, my preference is to get something to you once a week. Today, since I did so much meditation, I also took the time out to try and I love studying and reading books as well, and just where I can incorporate different things. And I found one. I think it's very worthwhile me talking about it. And I may even set up. I think it's good for the channel. I got a swag of things I've read, and at least take the ones that are good and tell you decent things so you can practice on your own. This one's called. I'll bring it up here. It's called "Touching Enlightenment" by Reginald A. Ray. You might be thinking, what's a Buddhist book about enlightenment got to do with Wing Chun? Well, firstly, um, the Wing Chun that I teach, it incorporates parts from what I call the mother arts. That includes Shaolin, right, which is kind of a reflection of the crane, and as in white crane. So it definitely has white crane, which is the mother art of Tai Chi. I think also Xingyi, definitely Wing Chun. Yeah. And we also have the snake, which is Ermei, right? And Ermei is Ermei Mountain in China. Um, Clearly a Zen Buddhist. Uh, well, it's Chinese, so Chan. Um, what do you call it? Um, Religion, whatever, right? So if you look at that, those pieces are in there, and so we have the martial arts movements. We have qigong, energetic movements. So you don't have to move the body, it can be the movement of the energy. And then with the Nigong part, and then you also have meditation, um, like a complete letting go. And so these three, I personally have to say, I don't think I would have a chance in hell of getting to where I have in meditation without my Qigong training. It's really made this immense difference for me. And I don't think I would have understand qigong to such depths without my martial arts training, right? And then vice versa for that to qigong and vice versa to meditation. They all sort of like positively play off each other. And so if you've done any qigong, Neigong, or you're interested in that, or Vipassana, or Tibetan meditation. I'm not sure what to call those because you have like Rigpa and Dzogchen and they have their own type of qigong. I apologize. I don't know the name of that. Uh, all of these things that I've just mentioned, they're all within Wing Chun qigong. Okay, and that's why it could be very difficult to teach, but I've created something. Right now, only one's up, but I have created it all. I just got to begin the process of posting it, of providing all of those components in a step-by-step fashion so people can ingest it, work on it, and then integrate it with other components. For those who just prefer to do freebies, that's what these book reviews are about. You just have to do a bit more work. And this book um, is one of those pieces of the puzzle. So if you have practiced Vipassana, but you don't feel like you're getting anywhere and you want to, or you have doubt, am I doing it right? Or even Tibetan Qigong exercises, or of course, just Qigong or meditation. And you're looking at that going, well, I want to get to a next level, or I don't feel like I'm getting anywhere or whatever it is. Um, this book does a great breakdown of the disembodied body or mind, I could say, disembodied mind. So if you're doing meditation but you're all head driven and conceptual and whatnot, um, it's probably a really good reason that you're not getting anywhere. A good sign of this is the seeker. You know, the seeker doesn't exist in the body. It only exists in thoughts. And I remember sitting down for on a Zen retreat, and the teacher, they ask you questions, or they give you koans, or you ask them questions, or vice versa, but it's kind of like a one-on-one thing. And during that, kind of asked me whilst why are you there? And I said, oh, I used to be seeking all the time, seeking. And but I don't seek anymore. And he said, okay, is that because you found your answer? And I said, no, it's because I stopped asking. So I exhausted myself realizing that I could never find that answer via thought. And in addition, that Zen teacher, um, when I first met them, they did say, whatever you're doing, you keep doing that. And the work that I was doing was very somatic. Okay. And what do I mean by that? Well, it means it's visceral. You need a body and you use your feeling. You don't use thinking. Okay. And if we look at it, good martial arts is like that. You use your body and you use feeling, right? Good qigong, neigong is like that. You need a body and you use feeling. Good meditation is like that too, is it not? You use your body and you feel into it. You can't think yourself out of a thinking box. And so, in order to it not be, something like and I'm not picking on them, right? It's getting very popular. People talking about non-dual. And you're like, well, what the hell's that? And you don't have to do any, you don't have to practice, you don't have to do anything. You're already awake, or this sort of talk, right? I don't really buy into that, by the way, hence why you might have said why I just mentioned it. But you need something more practical, right? Where you need to get in touch with the body. And so let's talk about the mistakes in those three arts. In martial arts, not getting in touch with the body is when you get shown a technique and you do drills-based training, but you never escape the drill. Okay, that's a great example, because what occurs is you're always expecting that sort of same timing from your opponent if you don't switch opponents, and you're always expecting that they're gonna throw that punch this specific way, or they may even do it at that specific spot and at that specific timing. But in a real fight, you have no idea what's coming. Just it's going to be like a blur, right? Now, very well trained fighters who've had a lot of ring time, okay, they can observe, and sometimes they know what's coming because they're going to be the one who's doing it. So they're like, well, I'm just going to knock you out, boom. But vice versa, they would have a lot of visual and peripherals to telltale what's going to happen. So you see how the latter one is deeply in touch with the feelings of their body and their senses, and can interpret really quickly potentially things that could come at them. Whilst the person who just did the drill training has none of that, and may expect that they could apply that block, maybe it's, let's say, that standard Pak Sao that you get taught in Wing Chun on the center line, that's going to get you home, right? It's not. It's going to get you knocked down. Again, I'm not knocking the Pak Sao. I think that's a great technique. I think it's a great drill, and it's a good way for people to build confidence, but then you progress into the next stage. All right, so this is what I mean by the crossover in examples. And if you look at Neigong or Qigong, maybe you're in a position where, hey, I know how to do the breathing and I know how to run Qi through my body. I just run it through my body. But are you in touch and fully absorbed in that which you're running through your body? Or is it potentially a conceptual overlay of an orbit you saw in a book? Is it colors of petals and chakras that you saw online or read in a book too? Is it the conceptual overlay, or is it the raw sensation of what that thing is? So too, when we come to meditation, we can make a very similar argument, because the qigong gets you in touch with that energetic body, but to really go deeper in your meditation, you need to start touching your heart, and to touch your heart, you need to understand your emotions. This is something that I guess the term for it is shadow work. It's you can also call it non-dual work, depending on how you're approaching it. If you really get to that um, felt sense, probably the way to put it. Okay, and so what I just described, sometimes those things can be described and be quite confusing. If you wish for it to be clearly articulated and broken down into just a chapter format, and those chapters are grouped in different sections, where you learn about how you've used your mind and become disembodied from your own self, and how you can go along that process of reintegrating this disembodied self to find the true self. This book has that description that I look for me. It was really gave me that level of confidence in my own meditation. Oh, I've hit this point. This is what I am doing. And it's good to see that someone who's clearly a master in that field, that's what they're prescribing. That's what they're doing too, right? And if you're not doing that, well, that would be a great book to read, to go, geez, I'm doing this completely different thing. I thought you're supposed to do that. And you can bring yourself over and begin to, what they say, go deeper in your meditation. And that's kind of like, getting out of your head, getting into your heart, getting away from thought to direct felt sensation. Yeah, so look, that's why I got online, just to sort of chat about that. What you'll find for those who already practice meditation or qigong, you'll look into that and just see, am I bypassing those aspects when I meditate? The reason I say that, because I believe consciously, unconsciously, it's hard to say, especially with unconscious patterns, because you can't see them, right? And defenses, they're unconscious, you can't see them. Your ego has many tricks to play. So, was there a part there where I was denying or choosing not to enter into those depths? Was there a part that I just didn't know? I don't know. But I was clearly making progress. But there is this There is pieces where you make energetic process. There are pieces where you have these realizations. Not I'm not talking enlightenment and awakening. That's different. This is sort of leading up to that as you release more mental concepts. So you release mental concepts and you go through these aha moments, and then you release energy and you get more energy and you learn to have more vitality in your body. And there are different ways to move that it can assist you with traumas and aches and pains. And then there's this other piece of the puzzle, the heart, which is to do with felt emotions, and releasing those, which again releases large amounts of of energy and so forth. And yeah, I would say that there was definitively for me, there was a part where, because I was not in touch with those feelings, I brushed over them. That's what's going to happen when you're too conceptual. But through the practice, learning how to, enter that heart space, all right? And, that's fantastic for you just being more comfortable in your own skin and then being comfortable around other people. So that just makes you a better person, makes you better in the world, makes them a better society. Um, and this sort of gives you the blow by blow. Also, look, at the end, there is an appendix where they give you the overview, just some techniques. And then if you want to go in detail, you can, join his course and all that sort of stuff. I just found it great that all the techniques he described, they're included with Wing Chun Qigong. As I mentioned, the Tibetan yoga is already within it. And just as like the Vipassana techniques in there as well, and these other Neigong components. All right. Hope that helped, and best of luck.